Tom McDermott has claimed that Jack Grealish to Manchester City will be a done deal after Euro 2020. And the Daily Mail claim that after the disappointment of losing out on Emi Buendia, Arsenal are set to bid for Wolverhampton Wanderers and Portugal midfielder Ruben Neves. Hit that like button, hit that share button. Here we go. Tom McDermott has claimed that Grealish to Manchester City is a done deal after the tournament. Not from him, but plenty involved in the game at the higher level think this is what is going to happen. Tom McDermott, of course, as you can see there, a Manchester United fan, a writer, journalist, has made this claim this afternoon that Jack Grealish to Manchester City could be a distinct possibility after the Euros. What stands out in this deal is one major thing to me. The link's already been there for a while. Sterling out, Jack Grealish in for Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. But Villa put a lot of energy, a lot of effort and a lot of money into landing Emi Buendia. They are now also working towards another signing. And the player, just as I'm speaking live on the air, literally leaves my mind. I want to say it's Ward-Prowse. It might be somebody else, and I can't believe I've forgotten. Very unprofessional. I'm very, very sorry. It's had a mind blank just as I'm about to say it. But they're really bolstering the central areas, the creativity within the midfield area. It's led a lot of people to believe that could be because Jack Grealish is leaving. Manchester City's owners have confirmed that they will spend whatever it takes to get Manchester City back to where it is they want to be. It is Ward-Prowse. I thought it was Ward-Prowse. My brain just went absolutely blank there. Very, very sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But Jack Grealish could be leaving. He's had an excellent game. 2 games, really, for me, for England in the past week. He's about to be one of the leading lights at the Euros. Tom McDermott has tweeted. He has claimed that it's not, he hasn't directly spoke to a source, but that he spoke to many people involved in the game, and he thinks, or they think, it's a done deal after the Euros, like the majority of the major transfers. But Jack Grealish to Manchester City, can you see that happening? And what does that mean for the rest of the league? Legit, what does that mean for the rest of the league? Signing a player with his creative ability. I want your thoughts. I want your opinions on that. We're also talking this evening about an Arsenal rumour. We know they wanted Emi Buendia. They were outbid, and the player decided not to wait around for any kind of deal to be negotiated. They were outbid by £3 million. Arsenal were in talks, and they were building towards a second bid. Before they had the opportunity to do that, Emi Buendia picked and has chosen to go to Aston Villa. They're now looking for alternatives. Ruben Dias' name has come up. Now, we all know that pound for pound, they're not the same player, same position. But Arsenal, of course, looking to bolster those central midfield areas. And a report this afternoon claims that Arsenal will make a bid for Ruben Dias in the next 7 days as the Wolves star decides he wants to join the Gunners. That's the headline, that Ruben Dias wants to join Arsenal. But we have seen that headline before about Emi Buendia. We have seen that headline about Yves Bissouma as well. Arsenal fans, do you realistically think you can bring Ruben Dias to the Emirates Stadium? Is that realistic in your view, in your opinion? I want to hear from you on these 2 big rumors trending across social media this evening. Ruben Neves to Arsenal. And I probably just said Ruben Dias because I can see everybody writing Neves in the comments. But Ruben Neves to Arsenal, could that be the case? As the headline here states, Arsenal begin work on the move and Ruben Neves wants the Arsenal move. And of course, Tom McDermott this evening telling us that Jack Grealish to Manchester City is a done deal. I'm going to go to your live comments here. I want to know what you're thinking and feeling about this. Ruben Dias living rent-free. Do you know what it is? I just say Ruben Dias' name a lot more. Sorry, it's my dyslexic brain, so I apologize. It happens every now and then. But you know what? It's really not worth focusing on. Sayed here says, mad. So Grealish on the left and Mahrez on the right. Who in the middle? Who knows who's going to be in the middle so far? But this is the level of Manchester City. It does appear that they've got a little bit bored, not bored, but they've gone to the end of their tether. There's no more room for Raheem Sterling anymore. They've had a good 4 or 5 years, and they want to refresh. And they're going to go for Jack Grealish. That's a big club. That's a big club mentality, whether people like it or not. They're not saying, let's go and sign an up-and-coming 21-year-old. We don't know how good he is going to be. They're going after one of the best in the Premier League that's attainable for them. Of course, it's very hard in this day and age to sign anybody from Liverpool like they did Raheem Sterling. They're not going to take anybody away from Manchester United that they would maybe like, or from Chelsea. But they're going to go after the best. I can certainly see this deal happening. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Ruben Neves to Arsenal, of course we can see that deal happening. It's going to be within the price range. One of the reasons, or the big reason, that Ruben Neves joined Wolverhampton Wanderers was because of Nuno Espirito Santo. One of the primary reasons. He wanted to keep playing for him. He felt that at a young age that the development he would get playing for Nuno was key to him. How do I know that? Because I literally sat in a room and he told me many years ago when he first moved to Wolverhampton Wanderers. With Nuno now gone, not too sure where he's going to be moving to. It might be Everton. Is Neves now looking for a step up in his career? And even though Arsenal have not been in a great space in recent times, I do think Arsenal Football Club is a step up from Wolverhampton Wanderers. I do believe that. And I'm sure most of you do in your heart of hearts as well. But I want your views and opinions. Get your comments in. Get your super chats in as well. Bloody fire, I'm boiling. What does that mean? I don't understand what you mean by that. Mason Mount says Neves is average. That's an interesting comment. Ebos here says Pogba is the only reason you got top 4. Without him, you would finish 6th. That's a really strange comment to bring Paul Pogba up when we're chatting about this, but okay. Thank you very, very much for telling me that. I appreciate it. Terry, how much is Grealish worth? Everyone has a difference of opinion, but I think he's worth every bit of 80 to 100 million pounds. I think he is sensational. Absolutely sensational. I know that England were only playing Romania tonight, but just go back and watch the highlights. Every time he touches the ball, everyone drops off. They drop off. At Man City, it's going to be sickening with KDB, Mahrez, and Jack Grealish in the attack. It's honestly, I think signing Jack Grealish this summer is going to be every bit as important for a team as landing a Haaland or a Harry Kane. He is that good, and at that level, he will deliver to large degrees. He's everything now. He's the complete player in his position. He's got the silks, the techers, the ability, the eye test, big tick. But he's now got the numbers. The level of chances he creates is astronomical for the size of the team that he's in, and he's going to do it in abundance. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Terry, no need to cry. Show your worth and challenge City. I mean, where am I crying? I respect you. I really don't understand the comments tonight. I've not said anything negative about the deal. I said it's brilliant. Very strange response. Very strange response indeed. Emi Buendia and Ward-Prowse to Everton could be shrewd signings. They should have got Lingard. Listen, I think Emi Buendia is a level above Jesse Lingard, in my opinion. Ward-Prowse, I'm actually glad he's getting the move. I think he needs it. He's actually been at Southampton too long, and he needs to now up the levels. And I look at someone like Ward-Prowse. Well, it depends really, because Aston Villa are trying to grow into something. If he went to Aston Villa and delivered for a year or two, I think a big club above that would come in for him. I don't know if it's been announced yet, but I would absolutely love for him to be announced in England's squad. And we'll show you that tweet again if you are just tuning in. Tom McDermott this evening said that Grealish to Man City is the done deal after the tournament. Not from me, but plenty involved in the game. A high level think so. That's the big claim from Tom McDermott this evening. Big claims indeed. Big claim indeed. A comment here says, Terry, what league are the Farmers Leagues? There's it's a bit of a fence-sitting answer, but it's the truth. The Farmers League, generally speaking, is a name attached to a league that we give to a player who our biggest rivals are signing. So if we are signing, say, a player from a French club, the French league is the Farmers League. If we're buying somebody from a German club, the league is a Farmers League, lacks competitiveness, blah, blah, blah. Every time you go to sign someone, there's a problem with the league that they come from. It happens all the time. So what league are the Farmers Leagues? Take your pick. Generally, wherever we see one of our rivals signing a quality player from would probably be the better answer. That's my thoughts on that. Terry, thoughts on KDB winning player of the year? Outrageous. Outrageous. In my opinion, Ilkay Gundogan, Phil Foden, Cancelo, Stones, Diaz, all in the Man City team would have been a better shout than him. I know they weren't all nominated in the end. Bruno Fernandes, better shout than him. I think it's wrong. I completely get it going to a player from the team that won the title. But I actually am shocked, actually legitimately shocked that he done that. It's rigged. Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. But do you know what? I ain't bothered though. Really, I think it's an outrageous decision. But in the cold light of day, do you know why it doesn't matter? Because over 50% of the people that vote, the players' side of things, they don't vote for it properly. The sports writers, you could argue there's some gravitas do that, but even then, it's just journalists as opposed to everybody's opinion. So it's a finite amount of people. But the one where the players vote, I think, is this the one that the players vote for? Or is this the one that the viewers vote for? Let me know, because even then, I don't really take them too seriously. But I can't even believe people have voted for him, even if, do you know what I mean? It's just weird to me. Very, very strange. I don't really get it. Players vote. Yeah, players vote, then it means even less, because I've seen multiple podcast shows where players have spoken about not taking it seriously. And they vote for like random people. So you might find people are going, do you know, it'd be funny this year. Let's vote for KDB because it will trigger people. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if lots of people voted for KDB knowing he didn't deserve it, just because it's a laugh. I've heard players literally say them and their squads have done that before. And when I heard that on a podcast 3 or 4 times, straight away I was like, I don't care who's won it then. If not everybody takes it seriously, if over half the people don't take it seriously, then it's rigged, isn't it? But there we go. There we go. I tell you what the real awards are. The real awards are proper titles. I tell you that now. Because I'm telling you now, right? A lot of people elevate Gerrard above Scholes because Gerrard's got more personal, like individual awards. Gerrard would give them all up to have Scholes' medals. So what really means more? That's the way I look at it. Do you know what I mean? So KDB gets it, cool. It's outrageous. I think there were better players than him, but we know why it's outrageous, because most footballers don't take the voting system seriously, to be absolutely honest with you. Interesting. Have you seen the comment tonight from Mustafi? I got this sent to me by a gal. I can pull it up on the screen. Randomly changing the subject here, but I want to put it up. Mustafi has said that Arsenal will very soon be where they belong. Trust the process and trust the coach. He is phenomenal. That's Mustafi's response to an Arsenal fan on Instagram. Chris Wheatley has shared that, and a gal shared it with me. I'm not too sure why a gal sent it to me. I know a gal has faith. Maybe a gal's going to come on tonight. I don't know. That he has got the link. I think I sent it to the group chat. I think I have. I don't know where these men are at. Everyone's busy now, doing their thing. It's because I sent them the wrong link. I do that sometimes. Let's do it again. There we go. Yes, I definitely sent the wrong link. No worries. There we have it. But I do want your views and opinions. I'm going to share the link now for you to come on and speak about these deals. I'm intrigued to know what you think. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link right now in the specified place for it on the Discord server. in the StreamYard call-in link box. I'm going to share it now. So if you're on our Discord, you know where to go and get that. If you're not on Discord, get yourself across. There's a link in the description below. Get it done right now, people. Terry, I think with the striker, they will win the Champions League next season, and then Grealish on the left, adding creativity for the striker. Look, Champions League, I don't know. Champions League, I don't know. And I say that because we've seen them not win the Champions League so many times. But maybe that will work for them. But I want to hear from you in relation to this Ruben Dias deal. I want to hear from you in relation to the Ruben Neves. I keep saying Diaz. Ruben Neves to Arsenal transfer and Jack Grealish to Manchester City. Give me your views. Give me your opinions on this. First up on the show, we're going to get Sahan Paul is here with us now. Who do you support, buddy?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Who do you support?
Yeah, I support Arsenal.
Lovely. What do you make of this Ruben Neves link?
I mean, he's a good player. Like I liked him for a long time, but I don't know if he fits Arsenal. Because we need a partner for Partey, Thomas Partey, and he is not that good defensively, and he's not like the number 10 type player. Like we are dead, right? So we lost out for India. Like that was a bad thing, and now we are going for players which probably don't fit a system, and yeah, it's not a good deal. I mean, as a player, he's good, but as a deal for the club and the system, I don't think he fits. Like only way he fits is like if Partey plays as a Fernandinho role, which again it's not because Partey is not like a proper CDM. So yeah.
I hear you on that. Listen, my guy, thank you for calling in and having your say. Top man. Thank you. It's interesting, really, the response I'm seeing to the Neves deals. I'm just going to stop saying Ruben because Ruben leads to me saying Diaz. I'm going to say Neves. The interesting response to it is 2 years ago, everybody wanted him, but it feels like because Wolves have had an average year, everybody's gone off of him. Nobody reckoned. I mean, I look at it this way. As soon as he rekindles that, Arsenal are going to be firing. Seems like a good deal to me. We're going to be getting a Gal on very, very soon, ladies and gentlemen. Before that, we're going to go to AFC. London Trident AFC is here with us. Arsenal fan, give me your thoughts.
Well, I'm going to say it's all right if I say one more thing because your chat yesterday about everything about Arsenal and Edu, where we're losing Emil Buendia.
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of hate for this because I think I don't understand why I'm going to get a lot of hate. I think I see Kroenke as a problem, but the main problem is the Arsenal fans. Arsenal fans have been allowing this to happen for the past 10 to 14 years, allowing Arsenal going down and down and down. I've been getting a lot of stick for this, and it's the truth, and Arsenal fans don't like to hear it because we've been going down and down and down, just been allowing it, thinking, oh, everything's fine, we just stick top four, that's fine. But we've just been going down and down and down. And everything about Neves, it annoys me because why didn't Arsenal just slap the 35 million, what they're going to be paying for Neves, on the Emil Buendia straight away? Why just keep titty-tatting, just go straight for 35 million, outbid him, easy, but we'll go for Neves, he's 50-50 because you can't really trust him. Sometimes he has his good moments and then bad moments, but it's mainly a lot of a bad moment than good because it's 50-50. Because I know it's going to sound very snobby as an Arsenal fan, but we pay the most expensive tickets there is in the Premier League. I pay about 1,200, 1,300 a year for a season ticket. The most expensive tickets in the Premier League. And us Arsenal fans, we've got a right to be snobs because the amount that we pay. And I feel like we deserve the most prestige. I know where Arsenal's in decline, but when we was in the top four, we deserve the most prestigious players there are.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, and you've certainly fallen from those levels. You can tell by who you're linked to. One of the biggest sort of targets that's kept on coming up from fans is Jack Grealish. I mean, can you? Like, I'm going to ask you this honestly. Could you imagine signing him this summer if you went toe to toe with Man City?
No, because Stan Kroenke is a tight-fisted git.
There we go.
I-
So if you can't compete with these, if you can't compete with them, you have to shop a level down, right?
I know that, but I'm talking about that. You know, when Arsenal was in the top four constantly every year, we got told that our Arsenal's top four is a trophy. That's what Arsenal see it as. For years, we got banned for being in the top four. But I'm talking about the time when we was in the top four, we deserve players like Grealish, Haaland, them type of players, because we pay the most expensive tickets there are in the Premier League, and it's unreal how much we pay.
Yeah.
And no one understands how much we pay. We pay. I don't know if you know that, but we're the most expensive.
I understand. I understand. But this is the point, though. The problem is, Gal sent this through to us, and when you
Yeah.
put it up here,
Ah,
this is the problem for me, not just with Arsenal fans, but football fans in general. Mustafi said it, so therefore, people that want to be lied to, people that want
yeah,
to
understand.
people that want to think, bury their heads in the sand, behave like an ostrich, and say it's just going to be okay. That's who this tweet is for. It's like yesterday. I've had so much stick from Gooners telling me, Terry, he didn't reject us. They outbid us, and we weren't prepared to go to that level. I've even sat there and sat in our Football Terrace group chats and seen the Gooners kind of like wordsmith their way out of it by saying, yeah, well, we just want to focus on it. He wasn't one of our number one priorities. So what was the point about bidding, blah, blah. And for me, every single time something goes wrong at Arsenal, rather than ownership of the problem, Arsenal fans allow themselves to believe in the corporate PR bullshit that comes down the line.
Yeah.
And like Gal said last night when he came on, I give him so much props for this. The amount of people I saw tweet about Kroenke out, they're the biggest problem. I've now seen them like, oh, look, the new shirt's come and this is coming. I can't wait for this. It's like, you don't give a fuck, bro. You did it all. You did it all for attention on social media. That's it, straight up.
And plus Terry, and plus, I'm glad that everything's going well for you on your streaming and everything like that. I'll give you props as well. Plus, one thing with that Instagram message was Mustafi. I've got 50-50 feelings. I don't know if he's trying to take the piss or is he being on a serious note.
I haven't seen the comment that's come before it, so I don't know in relation to that.
But plus, thank you, Terry.
Thank you very much for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Igal still to come on the show. Before that, we're going to go to Gooner Express, who's here. My guy, what do you make of this news this evening? Ruben Neves to Arsenal. You're meant to be bidding next week. Again, the media have been briefed that he wants to join Arsenal. The same as Emi Buendia, the same as Basuma. What do you think's going on, mate?
Well, personally, I don't know why people are instantly going to this thing that he's a rubbish player, that he's never been good, that he's overrated. I've seen some people say that Xhaka is better than him. Personally, I'm going to say Diaz as well, Ruben Neves, he was one of the better midfielders 2 or 3 years ago, especially when he was in the Championship. He was incredible. Fans all around the Premier League were raving about him. He came to the Premier League, did pretty well, scored some cracking goals. And again, still people were talking about him. Man United fans wanted him. Arsenal fans wanted him. And like you said, now that one bad season for Wolves, and let's be honest, it wasn't Ruben Neves' fault. The fact that Jimenez got injured, Nuno got caught out on his tactics, and to be honest, ever since they moved to a full-on 5 at the back system, Neves got worse. So I genuinely think that in an Arsenal system with a 4 at the back, with the likes of Partey and hopefully Basuma around him, he could succeed. But for me, I don't know if he's the right type of player we need. I want someone more defensive, so a Basuma, for example, and then maybe getting another midfielder as well. I know Kesh especially says that we need a lot of midfielders this season, and I agree. But we need those defensive midfielders first before we go and look at the likes of a Neves. But again, we're Arsenal Football Club. All these people saying we don't have money, that's not the case. We just don't spend it. So if the Cronkies have that ambition, they want to show us fans that they actually care. Go and buy Basuma and Neves, and also go and get those other targets that we need. But if it's a replacement or their ideal player instead of Basuma, I'm not happy with that. But if it's an add-on to Basuma or their replacement for Buendia, I'd definitely take him, because again, he's got quality in him, and we need goals from midfield. Neves brings that, so I don't know why Arsenal fans are so against this signing.
I mean, I think Neves is excellent. If Man United were announced tonight that we're going in for him, barring Paul Pogba, he's better than every single other midfielder at our football club, in my view. He had a quiet year at Wolves, but Wolves had a bad year in general. I wouldn't hold that against. Do you know what I mean? Like they didn't all suddenly become bad players, as an example. I think for some Arsenal fans, it's where you're shopping. Does that make sense? They're not worried about. I said it the other day. Listen, I proudly do shopping at Aldi. I don't care. I like it. Some people are just like, oh no, but I know it's the same. Like I buy a joint of beef, right, from Aldi, or I buy it from Tesco's, from the same farm, bruv. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's just one buys it actually in slightly larger bulk and adds a bit more money onto the top end of it and makes more profit from it than another company. But it's the sounding of it. Like certain people, it's like, I ain't shopping at Aldi. I want to shop at Tesco's. Oh, I wouldn't shop there. I want to shop at Sainsbury's. I don't shop there. I shop at Waitrose. I think there is a little bit of snobbery to it. But I do understand what the previous caller said, that Arsenal should be shopping at the higher end of the spectrum. Arsenal Football Club, prestige-wise, income-wise, size of your club, you should be going toe-to-toe this summer with Man United for Sancho, toe-to-toe with City for Jack Grealish. Why? Because that's what your club promised you would happen when you moved to the Emirates Stadium, and it hasn't happened. But there's where you want to be, and then there's accepting the reality of your current situation. You just got outbid and rejected for a championship player in a battle against Aston Villa. That's Arsenal's reality right now. And I think Arsenal fans have got to wake up and not accept being there forever, but know where. I think people get it back to front. Like people are like, I don't want to lower my expectations. Don't lower them from where you want to be, but accept where you are right now. That's what I think has got to happen, mate. But listen, great call as always. Thank you for coming on and having your say with us. We've still got Igal to come. We've still got KJ to come. We're going to go to the realist first of all. Before that, super chat here says, do you think City are prioritizing other positions instead of a striker because they are going in for Haaland next summer? Could be that. With a number of journalists have said that in recent times, high-end journalists. We had Christophe Terrace, or Terreur, I should say, with the accent on it. It's a terrible French accent, but I think it's Terreur, something like this. He said the other day, this will be very hard for one of those big, gargantuan Mbappe, Kane, Haaland type signings this summer, but you never quite know. So, of course, they might be prioritizing other positions before they go for that main target. That's normal. It's very normal for football clubs to say, right, a number one player we want to get, a number one position is striker. He's not available till next year. Some weird football fans have this kind of thought of, if you can't get the number one target in the number one position now, don't sign anybody. Why are we signing a right back when we need a CDM? Oh, the CDM we want isn't available. So she sign no one then. It's just dumb. Like, imagine that. I want to decorate my bathroom and my kitchen, but the bathroom that I want to have put in is out of stock for a year. What do I just not fix my kitchen then because I want to do the bathroom first? Mad. People, honestly, some people are so desperate for their clubs to fail. They throw out mad logic. I'm not saying City fans are doing that. City fans are not like that. Thank you, Monser Ahmed, for that super chat. I'm going to go to Arsenal Realist, then KJ, then Igal is going to be on. I want to hear from some City fans as well. But you know, guys say, yeah, that voice. But that voice is, when I read tweets from people like that, that's how I read them. That's how I imagine them talking. Like, oh, I don't understand why. Why are we signing a player that I don't like? Unfortunately, mate, you ain't got a say. Do you know what I mean? Get a job, become a scout. Prove that you actually know what you're talking about, and then sell yourself to the club, work there, and then you'll get an opinion. Like madness. Man like Realist is here with us. He's a gooner. What's your thoughts on Neves to Arsenal?
Yo, Terry, with Neves is a good player, and obviously I take him at Arsenal. We have no quality whatsoever in the midfield, but my problem lies where if we bring in Neves and that's our midfield problems and that's all we have to show for a transfer window, that's where my problem is. If we buy Neves alone, that's a problem. But if we buy Neves with more players included, like a Basuma, then I'd be happy. But obviously, I've also had the Bendia reports that we've been outbidden, and he's rejected us for Aston Villa. And I knew this was happening. Look where Aston Villa are going. They're heading up, and we're going down. Obviously, we're the bigger club, and we're supposed to be going places. But from what I'm seeing so far, we're not. and it's disappointing to see, but I'm not overly disappointed by the news because I did see it coming in a way. But if we do sign Neves, it is a good sign, but we need to sign more players. We need to sign minimum 5, 6 players. One player does not sort out midfield. We need to sign loads of players this summer.
You do, and Neves alone isn't enough. Buendia alone would never be enough. Basuma alone, and over the next 3 to 4 years, you need lots of quality players. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. How hurt are you over missing out on Buendia?
Um, I'm I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm devastated, but it is a signing that we potentially missed out on. He could be a great player for Aston Villa, and that's what kind of it doesn't hurt me, but it will stick at the back of your mind that we could have signed a player that was great for Aston Villa, but I'm not overly devastated. But can I also add that people may not think that that this is the lowest for Arsenal. We could go lower. We could end up lower. People think that this is the lowest Arsenal can get, and if we don't get the right players this window, we could potentially finish lower than mid-table.
You could. You legitimately could if things go backwards. And then what would we make of Mustafi's Instagram comment? Thank you very much for coming on and having your story. Really appreciate that, Abs. KJ's on with us next. Then we're going to go to Igal. KJ's here. What's your thoughts on? I'll go to you, Jack Grealish first. Jack Grealish is City. Give me your thoughts on that, mate.
Oh man, if that actually happens, man, I'll be sad, bro, because that just ends the league in terms of someone challenging that isn't Chelsea. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think it's happening this summer. I feel like Aston Villa getting in Buendia, looking at Ward-Prowse, looking at all these other players, is Aston Villa trying to bridge the gap from where they are now to the top 6 spots and get European football. That's their goal. That's their aim. And Villa fans aren't really too concerned about Jack Grealish right now. One of the ones I know anyway, they're not really panicking. They're like, oh, that he's going to stay. And this is their chance to show Jack Grealish, hey, listen, we're serious. We're serious about growing. And I don't see Man City spending 100 million on a player. They've never done that in the history. The highest record signing is Rodri at 60 something. You know what I mean? So they know that they don't want to go over a certain price when it comes to buying a player, and I don't think they're randomly just going to go do it for a player. They have an abundance. So I feel like they will probably wait a year for Jack Grealish and then go again. If Jack Grealish still wants to leave Aston Villa, but if they say they do it though, they say they do sign him for 100 million. That is one of the best players in the Premier League. Like, I don't say it, hands down. That's England's one of England's best players, hands down, in that squad for Man City. And it would just be very, very mad, like very, very mad if they actually get it going, because he'll bring that creativity. You know he can score goals. Imagine Pep taking his creativity and saying, "All right, here's the best position to be in to score some more goals." It'll be ridiculous, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's so good. He's so good, and I think from a Man United fan's point of view, no bitterness in what I'm about to say. Where my frustration would be is that him signing for Man City means I know that he's never, ever going to play for my football club. That's the painful part. It's a bit like when Mane and Fabinho, 2 players I wanted at Man United for years, when they signed for Liverpool, my frustration was, that's it, it's done. I'm never going to see those guys play for my football club, and that really bothered me. There's no doubt.
That will be annoying. The only way I can see us ever signing Jack Grealish now is if for some reason Bruno Fernandes wants to leave within the next year or so. We get the money for him, and Jack Grealish, if he hasn't moved on, which I assume he would do by then, because he'll be 26, 27, 28.
Yeah,
that's the only way I see Man United getting him. Right now is an open. If you're not Man United, I feel like it's an open race for Jack Grealish, because Liverpool need a creative midfielder who can slot in and do something. Man City, they just want to bolster the squad. You know what I mean? They just want more players who can play out wide and be creative. Liverpool, Chelsea, they can easily get rid of their wingers, because I don't see Pulisic staying there for a long time. I don't see Ziyech staying there for a long time. Cho might leave, so there's an opening there for them. Arsenal are always looking for a player, and Spurs are Spurs. So
Yeah,
like
I mean, Arsenal and Spurs, they ain't got the facility.
they don't have the facilities for that. But I'm just going to include them because I know what their fans are like. Why don't you mention us in these? All right, listen, we're talking about big boy things here. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, but yeah, so Man United, I don't see them wanting to say to Bruno Fernandes and Grealish compete for that.
Yeah, I hear you on that. On the Arsenal,
Bruno Fernandes. So
yeah, on the Arsenal for Neves, we obviously know last night the rejection, missed out on Buendia, now appears. And again, this is what I want to say to Arsenal fans, the Kool-Aid here. The same press, the same people, again stating the Neves wants to join. A bid is imminent. What's your take on Neves to Arsenal?
I mean, it would be a good signing. It would be better than what they have now. I feel like it's an upgrade on Xhaka, a bit more mobile, a bit more assured. He won't give you needless red cards. You know what I'm saying? And there's more likely his long shots will probably go in more. This whole thing of goals from midfield, he scores a screamer every now and then. It's not like a Bruno. It's not even like a Joe Willock or a Jesse Lingard where you're guaranteed goals from that position. Like it's more of potentially he might hit a free kick or potentially he might hit a long shot or a volley that's out of this world. But it's not going to be producing the goals that they need from midfield. So if they bring in Ruben Neves, they need someone else in that midfield to help him and complete it. If you go for a 3-man midfield, you're going to have Partey, Neves, and you're going to need someone else. They need more of a creative player in there with those three. A midfield of Basuma, Neves, and Partey, it looks good on paper, but how functional would that be in terms of getting the ball into the forward men?
I think Neves, the long shot thing with Neves is interesting because, as you say, he doesn't really score too many of those goals, but it's almost there is this weird belief that he does it every other week type thing. I totally hear that in relation to it and everything else. But what do you take? A lot of Arsenal fans seem to be upset with the link. A lot of Arsenal fans in the comment section tonight, we need better than Neves. He isn't good enough. Do you think Arsenal fans are shooting above their station, or are they right to demand their club buys better than Ruben Neves?
No, them man are in no place to demanding Ruben Neves. They're in no place to not be demanding him because we've seen players go to clubs and elevate themselves. Why couldn't Ruben Neves do that at Arsenal? Are you saying Arsenal are not that club to give them a platform to get better? Like the way that Arsenal fans are acting with, like even with Buendia, some of them with Buendia, you are not allowing players to show that they've got quality. And you're not allowing your own football club, which you love and say is this big team, you're not allowing it to give them a platform to go and be better. I'm pretty sure if Buendia or Neves played with some of the players at Arsenal who are better than what they're playing with, you'll see a better player. Like right now, they're not attracting the Grealishes, they're not attracting the Sanchos, they're not attracting all these guys that they say they should be going after because that's not the reality they live in. They just need to go after the players that they know they can. And again, players who want to be there and build themselves as a player and build the team.
You know what's interesting as well? I heard a few Gooners today talk about how they're happy they didn't get Buendia because Buendia is not that good because who else in the top 6 was after him? And I sometimes that kind of lazy excuse is crazy. So, well, think about why and think about the players that those other top 6 clubs already have in those positions. Every now and then you get presented with great opportunities, like Man United going after Jadon Sancho. Man United's pursuit of Jadon Sancho is perfect for our football club because the other teams in the league that I legitimately think could get him in front of us because of the current position we're in compared to them, they already have top-class players in his position, so it isn't a priority for them. So with Buendia, if there was more creativity from the central or right-hand sides that Cities, that Man United's, that Liverpool's needed, of course they'd be looking at somebody like him. In fact, they have all scouted him and looked at him, but there isn't a necessity for it. And I just think there's a lot of, like, Arsenal fans, for me, in the last 24 hours, you're making the Kroenke's life easy. You're almost defending their inadequacies because you want to protect yourselves on social media from people bantering you. Own it. Eight mile this shit and own how bad it is and have a go at your football club instead of defending them. And I know Gooners don't want to hear it, but listen, this is the football terrace. No echo.
Honestly, they just don't have the facilities. Just don't have the facilities for that big man. You know what I mean? Just because of the way that the Cronkies are running your football club, it ain't happening like that. Unfortunately, I see a guy in the background. I see him, but I understand. Like I know, like you've got the money to do big things, but your owners don't want to do big things. I see Gooners in the comments saying we ain't got time to grow players. Look how far behind. Well, you're that far behind. You need time to grow players. You know what I mean? Like,
do it at the same time. I don't understand why football fans have become so basic. I know. Do you know what? I know why football fans have become so basic because so many of the big voices in the football spectrum are basic, and maybe it's a match made in heaven. You can buy some players that, or for right now, and develop players. But Emi Buendia isn't just a. How old is Emi Buendia?
24.
He ain't a kid. 24 is not a kid. He's in his mid-20s, an established pro. This is the madness I keep hearing. No, we don't need any up-and-coming young talent. We just need all established, ready-to-go players. But all those ready-to-go established players that are proven to get you back to the top are not joining Arsenal right now. It's the paradox that we find ourselves in is amazing.
Yeah,
Again soon, my guy. Top man, thank you. Igal coming very soon. Before that, we're going to go to Gunnar King to have his say on the show. Welcome to the terrace, mate. What do you want to say?
Hi there. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be on. I agree with a lot of what you said about Arsenal fans talking badly about Buendia just because the transfer didn't go through. I don't buy into the fact that he wouldn't have improved our squad. In the last Premier League season that he was with us, that he was with Norwich, only Grealish and KDB created more chances than him. And he's played another year, albeit at Championship level. Invariably, he's become a better player than he was when he left the Premier League. So, yeah, I agree with you. You know, I think the realm of reality we're in, that's the player we should have gone for. My critique to the Buendia situation was a few years ago we signed Pepe, yeah, and a lot of people said, you know, that we probably paid over the odds, that our desperation showed in the manner in which that transfer was handled and the eventual cost that it came with. But now, fast forward a few years later, we're being told that we're not showing enough ambition just because we pulled out of a transfer because Villa offered more money up front and they offered more money. And we had actually set a ceiling whereby it was like, look, no matter how good this player is, given that no matter how good he is and he's come from the Championship, we're not going to go above. So they're kind of learning from that mistake and showing a bit of pragmatism. But people are saying we're not performing like a big club. So there is the element to it where you can say, you know, we let Villa steal a march on that. But equally, you could say, well, in a sense, we're also learning from mistakes where we're not just, you know, putting money on the table for putting money on the table's sake. The other thing that I would say is that we're not looking at Arsenal needing one or two players to strengthen our team. I think we need a CDM more. We definitely need a right back. We need a CAM. We could do with a second striker, and we need cover at left back. That's 5 players, you know. And when you look at the resources that we have, yes, we do have resources, but we don't have an owner that wants to really be expansive with those.
Yeah.
This is the realm of reality. We can't let one transfer or one transfer need outgo the fact that we need to cover and strengthen in other areas as well.
What about it? And you know what? There's nothing you've said there that, from a logical standpoint, doesn't make sense. It absolutely spot on in everything that you've just said. I suppose there's 2 things that stand out to me. There is still this element of, okay, your model is to not spend above a certain cap on a player. But for days, we heard through tier 1 Arsenal journalists, you know, how long you've been looking at Buendia. He was the priority earlier on early last season, but you couldn't get him. So you went to Odegaard as an example. So he's someone you've been watching for a long time. If the upper limit was 30 mil, and I know an element of it was how much you wanted to pay up front, and installments are an important thing. It tells me that, says to me, your owners are not looking to spend big money on players. If that's the upper limits, that would be a concern for me, as opposed to the business model. Fine, but 30 million pounds is an upper limit. Man United was spending 27 million pounds on superstars nearly 20 years ago. And if you guys are setting that as your limit in this era, that's very low. The other end of the spectrum is this. They're now I've heard that. Of what you said today. I've seen that kind of, actually, we couldn't overspend here because we've got all these other positions that we've got to fill. My question is going to be, what's the reaction or what's the fallout going to be if those other positions are not filled within that kind of pricing? Because this is what normally happens with Arsenal and all football clubs, but we're talking Arsenal now specifically. We miss out on someone. We miss our target. We get spun the PR that this is why, and it's going to be okay. But then what they promise is going to come never actually delivers. But people forget what they were lied. There's so many lies. They forget what lie is which. And that would be my concern as a Gooner. If you get to the end of the summer and 2 or 3 of those positions haven't been addressed, you've missed out on other targets. Then you get down to that. We might as well just spend an extra £3 million. And that would be my concern, really, as an Arsenal fan in relation to this, that the fact that you now can't compete financially with an Aston Villa. That for me is you move to the Emirates Stadium so you could be one of the most powerful clubs in the world. And it's just crazy to me how people are sort of accepting of that, which is mad.
Yeah, and I think I agree with a lot of what you said. I think, the major concern is that we don't fill those gaps. And the major concern is the track record that this board has in promising and not delivering. And, the major concern is that other clubs, for me, are doing business already in a way that we need to be. And, I think we always kind of labor and leave things later than we should. But I think the upper limit thing isn't from a perspective of not being prepared to spend that money on one player. It's more this player in particular, given that, yes, he is a good player, but relatively less proven in the Premier League or at top level than other players. Now, let's look at Husam Aouar, for example, who we spent the whole of last summer courting. It was a similar situation to you guys and Sancho, where we were quoted a price, and again, we showed the same amount of pragmatism that you did in saying, look, they're saying that's the price. We don't think that price reflects the market or that player's capabilities. Let's wait. Sancho's now down to 85 million, where it was above 100 before. Husam Aouar now is, he's being touted to us for half the price that we were prepared to pay for him last season. Well within our capabilities now, cheaper than Buendia, has played at a higher level, at Champions League level and at international level. There are other targets out there. So I don't think it's a case of we weren't prepared to go to that price for that in general. It was just like, did it make sense for it to be this one? And did it make sense for it to be in this position? When I think as an honest Arsenal fan, I really do think, similar to like maybe Fred at United, where that DM can really elevate the capacity that the attacking players in front of them have to not have to drop so deep and not have to contribute defensively, to be able to just do what they do best a bit more.
I hear everything you're saying, mate. Literally, when I say this is a compliment, genuinely one of the best 5 calls I've ever had on the channel. Great points being raised, logic. Challenged my points in a respectful way, which is always nice when I get challenged in a respectful way. It's easier than getting into a row. But I hear a lot of what you're saying. My only sort of caveat to it, and I think you agree with this as well, it's Arsenal now need to deliver on what you're saying. Otherwise, it will just become words again. Absolutely, and we'll see where that goes, my guy. But thank you very much for calling in, mate. It'd be great to hear from you again, mate. Top man. Thank you very, very much indeed. All the best, top man. Thank you. Thank you. I saw his name then as I clicked on it because he logged into Facebook. But if someone doesn't actually write their name in the name box on stream, I don't want to say it out loud. Really good call, really was. Igal is now with us here. Igal, Ruben Neves to Arsenal. Give me your thoughts. You're on mute, my brother.
First of all, you missed the Jack Grealish story. The dream's gone, Terry. The dream's gone.
The dream was never there.
No, it was.
Why were you dreaming about Grealish, bruv?
Listen, let me explain. First things first, Grealish in January till now, I've been saying it. We could do it. But I guess we can't even put our money down for Buendia. So what are we going to do? So that's two stories gone. Now, let's talk about Neves. I personally don't want him. I think he's a good player, and I understand. But the reason why I'm saying I don't want him is I'm not going to say I don't want the player. I don't want him as our first target. I don't think he should be our first target. If he's coming alongside of India, or he's coming as a third, as a second option to our to that position, it makes sense. I'm not saying his profile of player is a bad profile of player. We do need a player like that, but if he's going to be replacing Xhaka, in my opinion, he's very similar skill sets to Xhaka, and he's going to be a right-footed player playing in the same position.
Can I ask you a question? Continue, but I need to ask, when you say your first target, what can you expand on what you mean by that?
If he's our first choice, like that's who we're going after now as a number one target for that position, the DM position, and we're not going to be going after Basuma any longer, that is underwhelming. Because we've been going after Basuma this whole time, only to now say, you know what, we see this cheaper option, 35 million pounds in the same league, and we're going to get him instead of Basuma. That's why it's underwhelming for me. And it's not that it's underwhelming as a player. I feel like even for the profile of player that we want, Basuma fits the midfield that we're looking for, with more pace, more power. He's able to get up and down a lot faster. And when it comes to Granit Xhaka, he's an upgrade to Granit Xhaka, where I would say, I'm not gonna say they're very similar skill sets, but Granit Xhaka is superior to new Ruben Neves in his passing ability. And the only place where Ruben Neves, 100%, but the only place where Ruben Neves would be superior to him is probably mobility and being able to take press control. That's the only thing I would say.
So Ruben Diaz. So
Ruben Neves.
Xhaka, so sorry, God, I keep doing it. So Xhaka's only better than Neves if Xhaka's not being pressed or hurried or put under pressure.
Basically, Xhaka's not press resistant where Ruben Neves is, but when he has time on the ball, Xhaka's a much better player with his passing range and his passing ability. I've watched Granit Xhaka all year. I know that he's not the best player when he's being pressed, but when he has time on the ball, he's a lot better than people think he is.
Yeah, but the problem is though, bro, is that you'll get pressed a lot. So do you know what I mean? It's a bit like this. What you're basically saying is, I'm a better boxer. I'm an amazing shadow boxer when no one's punching me back. I'm the best boxer in the world at hitting a punch bag. But as soon as I'm up against a person, I'm not. Like,
no, what I'm saying is, we're not getting somebody with skill sets that are different to Granit Xhaka. We're not getting someone with more mobility.
You're getting somebody that can do those things when he's under pressure.
Okay, but what about the fact that we also complain about the fact that our midfield does not have the pace and power to compete with other midfields? Ruben Neves coming in.
You don't use PMP on the terrace, bro, but I hear you.
Okay, well, what about the fact that when you compare midfielders in all the top 6 teams, even Leicester, they have someone like a Tielemans. You cannot tell me a Ruben Neves is going to come in and he's going to be similar to the like of Tielemans with his ability to get up and down the pitch and help the whole team. And I'm not looking at him as a DM. I'm looking at Ruben Neves as a deep line playmaker who's going to help progress the ball and the whole attack. And in my opinion, if we have Ruben Neves, he's not on the same level as Granit Xhaka, but they are very similar skill sets. And I'm looking to get away from the Granit Xhakas and go for more of a Basumas, go for someone who's going to be more mobile, who's going to be more progressive with their runs and not only their passes.
Interesting take. I mean, I don't know what the viewers, what do you think? Is Granit Xhaka, I want to use your words here, levels above?
No, my question is are their skill sets that much different? Are we getting that much of a better player?
That's the question for the viewers to answer, as opposed to me. Aaron here, the super chat says, Igal, you sound like a typical spoilt gunner. Ruben Neves improves your midfield. Xhaka has been bang average for years. Can't say the same about Neves.
Okay. Listen, we can improve our midfield with a lot of players. I could give you one player right now in world football who plays for RB Leipzig, has a 50 million euro release clause. Arsenal should be all over that.
But you ain't got 50 million quid for a player.
50 million euros, we have that for an attacking midfielder. We're looking to spend money.
You just went for your number one attacking midfield target. You told us he was your number one attacking target, and you weren't prepared to pay 33 mil. So how have you got 50 mil? Okay.
What you have to understand is we were willing to spend 40 million last summer for Awar. And I think if we drag this out, we could possibly find a way to get the guy from Leipzig if we tried our hardest.
Do you think he would leave Leipzig Champions League football for Arsenal? Do you think you could convince him to come? And that's a genuine question, no salt.
it will be difficult. It will be extremely difficult. But at the end of the day, if we put our money where our mouth is and we put a proper project in front of Sabitzer, we could probably get him.
Interesting take. Viewers, what do you make of that? I'd love to know your thoughts and feelings. In terms of Jack Grealish to Man City, Tom McDermott, as we mentioned earlier, has stated that it's a done deal after the Euros ends. What kind of signal does this and noise does this send to the rest of the Premier League?
This basically tells the Premier League that Manchester City are not playing games. They're here to stay, and they're going back for that Champions League trophy next season. They're going back for the Premier League next season, and for a Premier League title winner to go and strengthen and get one of the best players from outside of the Premier League. This is like what Manchester United used to do when they're in their pump, getting the best players from other teams, refurbishing their squad, selling off players that they feel like are not up to scratch, and you can already see guys like Jesus being linked away, guys like Raheem Sterling being linked away. And in my opinion, for the next couple of years, Manchester City could be catching up and climbing up that total pole. We're witnessing history as over the past couple of years with Manchester City, and it's just sad that it's not our clubs.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. It will be one of them signings where you can't slag the player off because he's so good, but then you're still kind of upset and bitter because City and one of your biggest rivals are going to improve and go to that next level. It's painstaking. Is it crazy to think that over the last sort of 15 to 20 years, the difference in direction you and Man City have gone in, that you wouldn't have predicted, even 10 years ago, you wouldn't have predicted that you'd be where you are and City are where they are? It's crazy, right?
Listen, I would say the same thing with Chelsea and how all these big clubs that have good owners, they're able to, with the money that they have and the direction and the right planning, you can get there and you can overtake anyone. And at this point, I'm going to say something. It's the reality of the situation is you can gain big club status, like what Man City's been able to do with their style, with what they've been able to do recently, and the likes of RB Leipzig and these other clubs coming in and basically trying to gain big club status by obliterating the smaller teams and going head to head with the bigger teams. And you can also lose big club status. And if Arsenal does not if we don't get our act together and we continuously stay in the same position we're in, Terry, in 2 years' time, if we're still not in Europe and we're still in the middle, at that point, you can no longer call us a big club.
Yeah, I mean, there comes that cutoff point, isn't there? There is that cutoff point. I want to pose that as the big question tonight to the audience. The big question to the audience tonight. How many more years do Arsenal need to stay at this level before they have to be stopped being referred to as a big club anymore? Or a contemporary big club at least? Give us your views. Give us your opinions. And lots of super chats come in. Jerome here says, until I see it, I won't believe it. Arsenal are going to spend to upgrade the team. We're doing bargain basement shopping, mid-table stuff, unfortunately. The thing is with Jerome Pierre there, we had Gunner King on earlier, and I like how positive he was about the reason they're doing what they're doing. But that approach either has to happen, first of all, has to happen, and then it has to work. So it has to yield these improvements. You've got the likes of that Mustafi's tweet from a footballing perspective.
Oh, that pissed me off. That's why I sent it to you.
I see. I didn't know whether you were positive or not. But my view about it is this: take football, ring fence football from real life problems, because football problems don't equate to real life problems. But let's keep it in the football world. It's a very dangerous message for Mustafi to put out there, because it's that message that makes people relax and stop looking at the Kroenkes and how you're running the football club, because an ex-player said that it's all actually moving in the right directions behind the scenes. But for the life of me, I can't see how it is. I can't see for the life of me how it is moving in the right direction right now. It just doesn't. It feels like there's something missing at your club. By the way, exactly the same as my club, Man United. There is still something missing.
What I would ask you is, when I say we're going to lose our big club status, I'm going to say people are not going to look at us as they used to. Look at AC Milan. You don't look at AC Milan how you used to look at them. But if they win one league title, you're going to look at them like that again. It's just, if you continuously underperform for years, you can lose your public, how the public look at you. And that's what we're starting to lose. We're never going to be probably like the 10th worst team in the Premier League. We're never going to be the 10th ranked team in history with the least when it comes to trophies, because we're just high up there, and it's going to take a long time for everyone to catch up to us.
Yeah, not in our lifetime. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but what's going to happen is if people's public opinion of Arsenal will change, as it's already changed in England, then it'll start changing in Spain, then it'll start changing in Italy, and then when it changes across the globe, then we're going to find it very difficult to get ourselves back up there if the ownership does not change.
I think I think public view of Arsenal has already changed, if I'm being honest. And I historically, whenever I see the Arsenal game, I'm excited. But do you think Liverpool fans, City fans, Chelsea fans are scared if they draw you in a cup competition? I actually think when lesser clubs now, I think a good championship club draws you at home in the FA Cup, they think two things. One, great for the gate receipts, great for the attention because it's Arsenal, but also we could beat them. It's a hard game. They're still the underdogs. But I think 10 years ago, it was, it's good for gate receipts, but there's no way we're beating the Gooners here. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's how it is. Carl here says, my Canadian bro, that is wishful thinking. He ain't leaving. Arsenal is, as of now, not a big club, just a rich club in valuation, is what he's saying there. There we go.
That's disingenuous.
What do you mean disingenuous?
We are still right now currently still a big club. It's just the only problem is we're on a trajectory to lose that status. I don't think we've lost it yet. I don't think people still look at us. Yeah, people still look at us as a big club as of right now. But once public opinion changes outside of England, then it will start to become bad, because we watch the Premier League. We're majority Premier League fans. Once we start having people in La Liga, people in all over the world start looking at us. We were literally just invited to a Super League. Clearly, we're considered a big club, but of course, we can still lose that status. So I'm telling you the truth, guys. I'm not trying to sit here and like defend the club today. It's not that time.
Not one of them. No, I hear you, bro. I hear you. Listen, everyone that's tuned in to us this evening, a massive thank you from me. We're back tomorrow with more content for you. Big reveal around the kind of content we're going to be giving you during Euro 2020, amongst other things. Tuesday, a pilot for one of our brand new shows is beginning. I'm actually nervous and excited to be filming it. Our new Friday night light show is getting planned and prepped as well. Big things coming on the Terrace. Make sure you sign up to our membership package. The links for that are in the description below, because you'll need to be a member to take part. Especially Legend and Superfan members, you will get access to some of our brand new shows. You'll be able to sit there live in the studio, meet us all, chat to us. You'll even be on camera if you really want to be. So get yourself signed up to that right about now. We did have another super chat, actually.
What time is that, by the way?
Sorry?
You never said the time.
On Fridays.
Oh, no. Okay, you don't have a designated time.
It'll be the same time every Friday, every week. That's all I'm going to reveal about it, because there's a lot of people that listen. When City signed Riyad Mahrez, who was awesome for Leicester, we thought we'd run away with things for years. Since joining, he's been above average. Why is Grealish joining any spectacular? That's a fair challenge, and it's a fair challenge, because it's true. You can sign someone, and then you think that they haven't done particular. I think Riyad Mahrez has been excellent for Man City. The difference is this: is perspective. Riyad Mahrez went from being a gargantuan fish, a shark in a very small tank, where he stood out as a big boy. He just got put in an even bigger tank with other big shark, and he just looks like everybody else. It's happened at Man United for years, and it's why so many of our stars weren't always recognized like a superstar at a smaller club, because they were surrounded by quality, so they didn't stand out as much. I think that's what it comes down to for me.
Look at the France team. Just look at the France team as an example, or any team that has a lot of good players. Grealish is going to come in. You know what he's going to do? He's going to take a little bit of shine away from Phil Foden, a little bit away from Kevin De Bruyne. But now what's going to happen is you're not going to look at him as good, because he's playing with these guys. And that's what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, some people will, because they won't see it as much. I hear you. But listen, everyone who's tuned in, I thank you. Take care of yourselves. God bless. And we'll see you all again very